Moss in a bottle. Best crafting supply ever, or just chunky paint? Let's find out. Hey guys, welcome back to Blackmagic Craft. It is Tuesday, and that means it's Reviews Day. Before I discuss the product, I want to quickly do an ethics statement to explain how I got it. Plaid, the company that makes FolkArt, Mod Podge, and a whole ridiculous amount of craft supplies, came across my channel, probably because of my ridiculous amount of Mod Podge that I use. Anyway, they reached out to me, said thanks for being a great brand ambassador, and sent me a box of goodies as a thank you. Now, I'm under no obligation to talk about that stuff, make a video about it, or even use it or anything. It was just a box of stuff as thanks. And most of the things in it were just regular crafting supplies that I already have or use, so they are not worth really talking about. But there were a few items in there that were new to me and piqued my interest, so I wanted to test some of them out. There was a line of these painted finishes that they included of different texturing techniques like rust, concrete, and moss. And this really got me excited because the idea of a ready-to-use out-of-the-bottle moss that could be applied directly on terrain is pretty exciting if it works well. So I needed to test it out. In the package were two bottles, both the same size as your regular craft paint bottles. There were two different shades of what seemed to be the same material. When I first squirted some of it out, it sure seemed just like acrylic paint, but that maybe had a tiny bit of texture to it. Taking off the cap, I realized that all the chunks were stuck in the bottle, and I had to manually scrape some out. I first tested the stuff on some flat chipboard. I applied some of the more liquidy stuff first to see how it acted, and the effect was really not that great. It really just looked like paint with a little bit of chunks in it. I then tried some of the thicker material, and while the results were better, it still mostly just seemed like paint with some chunks in it. I wasn't feeling very confident in the product, but I decided that I should properly test it out on a bit of 3D terrain. I saw this coming. It really just looked like paint and did not suit the scale at all. This stuff clearly is meant for larger objects. And I think at that scale, the paint in combination with the texture would look fine, but on a small scale on miniatures, the amount of paint is just excessive and really does not read like moss at all. If you were to apply this stuff really lightly to a piece to try to make a subtle effect, I doubt you'd end up with any of the texturing at all. You'd just end up with light stippling of green paint. I instantly thought, why not try to make my own homemade version but without the paint? There's a common way of applying moss to terrain pieces, and that's by applying with a brush PVA glue and then sprinkling on finely ground turf or flocking. And to be honest, I don't really like the way this looks. It tends to look really flat and uniform and fuzzy and dry, and is just whatever the shape of your brush glue blob is. I don't really like it. But taking inspiration from the product itself, I decided to take some finely ground burnt grass color flocking, mix it directly in PVA glue with a little bit of water, and brush it on the piece. The idea is that the PVA would bond to the piece, fully harden the foam, and then dry clear, leaving only the flocking visible, hopefully in a shape and texture that looked natural. I have to admit, I was absolutely thrilled with the results. This homemade simple paste was quick and easy to make, it applied easily, and once dried looked pretty damn awesome. This method to me looks more interesting with its chunkier textures, and it's kind of nice and subtle because the PVA sort of mutes the color of the flocking. So as for the FolkArt product itself, for me, it's a hard pass. I don't think it's really great for terrain building. I do think it's probably good if you're doing large pieces like statues. If you're into that sort of thing, it might be worth trying out. I will put a link in the video description below to this product in case you do want to check it out for yourself, but I'm also going to put some links to the flocking and the glue that I use to make my own homemade paste because I think it's a way better option. Now, speaking of links, some exciting news for me. I recently signed up as an Amazon affiliate in the UK and Deutschland. So now people in USA, Canada, UK and Germany and whatever other countries shop on those sites can support the channel by purchasing through those links. I updated a bunch of information and links and pictures and stuff on my essential equipment store on blackmagicraft.ca. So it's got the UK and Germany links. It's got some products that weren't on there before, and it's just kind of revamped. I'm still working it out and adding some more stuff, but you should check it out. It is a really good way to support the channel without costing you anything extra. Just buy the stuff you're gonna buy anyway, and I get a small commission that helps fund videos like this. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button and let me know what you thought in the comments section below. Make sure you stay tuned for Friday's upcoming build episode. It's a really good one, and it does include some sweet homemade moss. All right, guys, cheers. See you on Friday.